Welcome back to Dum-Dums and Dragons, where improvisers who've never role-played before journey into the world of Dungeons and Dragons. I am the Grand Wizard Bukake, your host. Yeehaw! Our heroes are in Wild West Faerun. The gang carried out their train heist and it's gotten complicated. Sheriff Quinny established his deft hand with his pistols. Moss took out a band of guards with her chair, and Butthole was shot by practically everyone before taking over the engine. Can they win a battle with an encroaching robotic spider? Find out next on Dum-Dums and Dragons.
We all knew it would come to this. A giant metal spider, that classic staple of all Western movies. Every single Western that's ever been made is bearing down on the train that you've hijacked. Just like in The Great Train Robbery and 310 to Yuma. So it would seem that Typhonius himself has ridden out in his famed combat spider to try and reclaim the train. Butthole, you just put the train in high gear and are blasting toward it. Moss and Quinny, you feel the train lurch as it shoots forward. And around you, you see the landscape changing as the train pulls further and further away from your sort of home base. In the distance, you can see a tree line beginning part of one of the few remaining forests in this area. As well as in the distance, the sparkling clear shimmer of the water, and on the horizon, the half-built clear water itself. None of that is as impressive, though, as this giant fucking spider. Also, Dum-Dums and Dragons is now produced by John Peters. So there you go, everybody. So you still have the 2 cars with ammunition that you haven't checked yet. Butthole is shoveling coal as fast as he humanly can. What do you do?
We got to come up with a plan. So I think Quinny would like to drop down off the top of car number 2 and get inside to see what we're working with here. Okay.
So car number 2 is the heavy munitions car. So it is you are like your eyes go wide in classic sort of like Quinny in the Cave of Wonders kind of fashion, because there are some heavy fucking munitions here. There are seemingly left over from the war. There is a Gatling gun, a cannon, 2 mortars, and then a variety of heavy munitions for all of the above. Perhaps most relevant to your current situation, the cannon is on a basically, if you think of it as like one of those window washing sort of like raising platforms.
Mm-hmm.
You can use a jack to move the cannon up to the roof, and it has like a sort of gimbaled arm attached to it. It seems to be used for like worst case scenario defense of the train.
Okay.
Moss, what are you doing?
I think I want to get into the engine with Butthole because I mean.
All right, cool. So you drive forward and drop down, landing sort of squarely between the carts, and wheel your way in. Inside, you see Butthole shoveling coal.
And this is my new friend. And he introduces the guy whose name he'd learned, who he kept around to shovel coal.
Yeah, his name is Tim Hagar.
So this is Tim. Tim looks surprisingly calm, which is probably strange for Moss. That it's because Butthole in his Pastor Wild West version has an ability called Sound Mind, so he can use an action to end the charmed or frightened condition on any one creature within 5 feet. So I think he's used that to make Tim no longer scared. Tim can be confident that he's a hero now.
Yeah, Tim's like, don't worry, ma'am, we got this. I'm a hero now.
And the boss is going to be, okay, so here's the thing. I kind of thought the spider was a little bit closer, so it seems like we have some time. I could still put this in reverse.
No, it is like it's moving, like it's not plodding towards you. It is like roaring towards you.
And then he looks to the left, and he was actually looking in one of those rear view mirrors. Only this one says objects in mirror are, much closer than they appear, because in the mirror it looks like it's at Clearwater. And then he looks back over his shoulder. He's like, "Oh no, I made the right call. Okay, we have to kill a giant spider with a crazy person on it. Just Quinny, Quinny."
And Tim's like, "Pardon me, sir. Perhaps you'd like to use our loudspeaker system. We've got sending zones throughout the building." And by building, I mean trade. I'm sorry, I've got a bit of sun sickness from all this shoveling.
Oh man, we've all got that. And then he's just gonna take down the thing and be like, "Quinny!" Yeah,
so it's like an old timey like listening horn attached to several others, as you would imagine.
Quinny, how do we kill the giant spider?
I'm working on that. What's in car number 1? Car number 2 has a lot of very large guns. One actually ready to be used right now. We could fire on the spider.
Moss, go check car number 1 and yell to me what's in there so I can yell it to Quinny.
All right, and I just like spin around, door open.
Sure. So you ride into what you'd kind of expected to find throughout the car, which is the small arms car. So you've got racks of rifles similar to the ones the Rife Elves and the guards have been using. Shotguns, pistols, the whole shebang. Nothing that will put a dent in a giant metal spider necessarily, but exactly what you need to arm the town.
Okay. I mean, I don't know how this is not going to be useful against a spider.
Okay, Quinny, it seems like we got all the guns we need for the town are in car 1, and all spider-related weapons are in car 2.
All right. In that case, get me a bit closer, and I'm just gonna cranking the platform up. Yeah,
cool. You're gonna be real close and now.
Cool. So the roof opens up, and the cannon and its little sort of turret mount begin to rise. Once you've kind of cranked it up enough and you can feel it starting to lock in, you just quickly clamber up and you can take your seat at the cannon.
And then Butthole yell into his thing, "Oh yeah, don't forget, Moonhammer loves you." And then he'll put his speaker, the microphone, down by his ass and fart into it. And somehow all the speakers near everyone just fart, and glowing green fart comes out and hits people. In a weird twist of events, my rally power affects creatures who can hear me. So everybody will now gain for this coming combat. Everybody, including our friend Tim Hagar, will gain 6 temporary HP.
Nice.
Excellent. All right. So with that in mind, Ryan and Tyler, if you guys could roll initiative. Actually, Laura, go ahead and roll initiative as well, just so we know where you are in the order.
20. Well, 22, I guess, with Dex.
19.
4.
I mean, this makes sense. We're both doing decisive things, and you're in a car.
Yep, this all tracks. Great.
Quinny, I'm decisively in a car.
So, Quinny, you're looking down at the cannon, kind of quickly getting your bearings. It obviously takes a moment. But the good thing about cannons is ultimately there's only really one way they work, and this one is preloaded, which is great. It's got kind of like a bowling ball rack next to it with 6 additional cannonballs. So you've definitely got a few shots you can take. That said, aiming and firing a cannon is a much different beast than firing a pistol. So despite the fine craftsmanship of this, you will be firing at disadvantage. So go ahead and you kind of start cranking the cannon around as you see the giant mechanical spider. For those of you who haven't experienced the Great Train Robbery or 310 to Yuma, or I guess Wild Wild West, which also has one, but less famously than those other cowboy movies. It is just all iron girders and heavy metal, just plumes of smoke coming off it. Hardcore steampunk. Basically, if you disassembled like an old bridge or a crane and use that to build a spider. So it is stomping hard, stomping fast toward you. Big cloud of dirt and dust behind it. And you can see a bunch of weapons attached to the spider's head that are gearing up. You can also hear someone is yelling into a loudspeaker from it, but it's too far away and everything. The train is too loud for you to actually be able to tell what it is. You just know that someone is yelling things emphatically and angrily in the distance.
Okay. So am I aware of what's conferring disadvantage to me?
Yeah, just the trajectory of firing a cannon. And honestly, Quinny, I feel like based on everything you've done, you've fired cannons before.
Yeah.
The disadvantage is largely you're on a speeding train and cannons are damnably inaccurate. Unless you're shooting into like troops, in which case you don't really need to aim so much as you just kind of launch. So it's mostly just like figuring out the trajectory, but you might be able to find a way to negate that. I'm just not sure what that would be.
Okay. Then I'll just roll a disadvantage for now to see how we do.
I will also say that your odds will get better the more times you fire it.
Okay, so I rolled a 19 and then a 5. So what's my modifier on 5?
I'm sorry, what's your modifier on 5?
Yeah.
He rolled a 5.
I rolled a 19 and then I rolled a 5. So we have to go with the 5.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
It's your normal shooting. I thought you meant 19 and then your modifier is 5. So I'm like, yeah, man, that's a really good roll. Congratulations. You shot yourself a spider. Oh, man. So the cannonball, the cannon roars and, just like that first time I played a sniper video game in an arcade that actually took into account wind. And I was like, ha, I see him in my sights. And then I fired my bullet, just tracked away into the night. And I was like, oh, here's more money. Sega City, Mississauga. The cannonball, even though you've got your targeting on nicely, the cannonball misses the target by quite some. So you realize you have to kind of anticipate where the spider is going to be, where you're going to be, and then so on and so forth. Which means your next shot will be at a slightly better odd, but not quite out of disadvantage just yet.
Okay. I'll mark my cannon shots as
cool.
5.
Yeah, and then obviously you run to the front and start stuffing another cannonball in. Butthole.
Okay, so I've got the engine. I'm in an armored car.
Tim is barking with excitement.
Oh, he's one of those guys. I like him.
He's a hero dog.
Yeah, he's one of those pug people. We didn't get into it, but that's who he's been all along. We got the balls. We got the other thing. We got the cannon. There's not really a whole hell of a lot he can do here. I think what he'll do is he'll jump on he'll just grab that speaker again and be like, Quinny, I really believe in you, and so does Moonhammer, and just remember that you're handsome and we love you. And you know what? Sometimes even you fart. And then Quinny, you feel yourself fart, and green magic comes out of you because my inspire ability also requires I can be heard. And you will now add a D8 to your next attack roll.
Okay.
So hopefully that'll help you with your disadvantage.
Thank you.
Excellent.
And then Butthole will look out the back door and yell to Moss, like, can you help Quinny? Is there something I should be doing? I don't know what to do on trains.
And Tim is just like, bork, 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 bork.
I honestly don't know about the train. I should probably go back and find something big to shoot this frickin' spider with.
Okay, do I stay here or do I go back there?
I don't know. Maybe someone should keep a lookout to see if the track's going to end or something.
That seems smart. And then what I'll do is just close the door and lock it so that I'm actually in an armored shell. It would really defeat the purpose to keep the back door open to the explosive carts.
You are correct.
Okay, now I'll be engine man.
Okay, great. So Moss, actually it's the spider first because you rolled hecka bad.
Yes, I did.
So as the spider gets within earshot, Quinny, you can finally hear the ongoing monologue that's been going on. She says, I cannot believe the very grit of the people who would come and try and take my dear sweet train away from me. And if there's one thing I cannot abide, it is a train thief. So I say you, sir, how do you answer my earlier questions about your intent?
Boom.
Amazing. All right. Fuck, man, that's too good for me to not give you that. Go ahead and roll an attack.
Disadvantage still?
Yes, we get the plus D8 from Ryan, and I'm going to give you an additional +5 from your first fuck up.
Okay. 7 plus 5, 12, plus my modifier of 5 is 17.
17 will hit. It is a large target, so there's some good news there. So, Tyler, go ahead and roll 3d6, please.
So that's 8. 8. Any modifier to that, or just straight die rolls?
Plus whatever you would normally add to frostbite.
That's going to be 8 plus 3, so 11.
11 points of damage. All right. So you hear like a ping as the cannon hits metal, and then just a proper fluster of scoffing and kerfuffle. And he just says, "Very well, so be it. Mr. Sharp Plop, do me a favor and throw a challenge glove at that there train." And then you just see like a glove flitter kind of away from the spiders. "Close enough. A duel it shall be, good sir. I say you good day." And then the spider opens fire. So you see a blast of flame, and a miniature fireball is blown from the head of the spider, rushing toward the train. Ryan, go ahead and make me a dex save, please.
Oh, that's a 4.
Great. So you are unable to. We're obviously can't like jink a train out of the way of fire. We're just going to roll that for like partially to affect their odds. So since you failed, they won't have disadvantage on the shot. However, it doesn't matter because I rolled a 7. It was the best of the two. I rolled a 7 and a 2. So the fireball hits the woods behind you, and there's kind of a massive blast, and a bunch of trees get thrown up into the air, and the trees start to burn in the distance. And it turns out, and he yells, "Turns out, apparently, I cannot prevent forest fires. I can only start them. That bear lied to me. Mr. Sharplop, have that bear killed." And we carry on. Moss.
Butthole flips his speakers over to the exterior and just yells, "I'm Red Reggie," and then turns it off again.
Very good. Moss, you wheel into the heavy munitions cart.
Mm-hmm.
You can see obviously like the big cannon piece that's been jacked up to the roof. Around you, the easiest thing you could likely use is you could jam the Gatling gun through a window pretty easily.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That's also probably what Moss... I don't know that Moss would be able to figure out, distancing and stuff with a mortar in time to be of any use.
Well, and also the cannon is the only thing that's built to go, like, to actually defend the train. You would have to, like, grab it, figure out a way back up, and then it's a lot of hassle.
Yeah.
Cool. So you're jamming the Gatling gun through the window?
Heck yeah.
All right. So the spider is rapidly closing. Nice thing with the Gatling gun is it is slightly easier than a cannon in terms of sort of range finding, because their bullets not like So go ahead and roll 4 times, please, with the Gatling gun as you start to like use your big troll arm to like turn the crank to fire.
Am I adding anything?
Just whatever you would add to ranged normally.
Okay, so 21, 16, 18, and 5.
21, 16, 18, 5. So the 21 and the 18 will hit. The 16 does not.
Whoa. Okay.
So roll D8 for each of those guys, and then add whatever you would normally add to. Just in general, if I'm giving you ranged weapons, apply whatever your normal ranged weapon is to it.
Cool.
We're kind of using that instead of proficiency.
Perfect. All right, that is a 5 and a 9.
All right, so a total of 14. Good hit. Actually, very good hit. As the cannonball pings off the side of the spider, the Gatling gun ammo just starts like cranking up along the chassis. Good news is, as the spider gets closer, it's going to get easier to hit and easier to damage for both of you, because getting hit. Cannons in general are pretty fucking ugly things to get hit by, but the closer you are to that point of blast, the worse. Great. Brings us to the top of the round. Quinny, the spider is now closing in rapidly. I'm going to remove your disadvantage because there's no longer range so much as hit the sky. Go ahead and roll your attack.
I rolled a 3, so I'm not going to add anything to that.
Fair enough. You go to fire the cannon, realize that in your speed to reload it, you didn't add any additional blasting powder because you're used to just putting bullets in a gun. So the fuse wears down and nothing happens. And with an incredibly beautiful variety of swear words, you quickly properly reload the cannon and prepare. Is there anything else you want to do? Also, one other thing that's probably worth noting, Tyler, because the cannonball is still in the cannon itself, I would let you roll a second attack. If it had fired and you missed, I don't think I could justify a second attack. But since it didn't fire...
Since your roll was so bad, you get another shot.
Well, also, I narratively leaned into the fact that the cannonball didn't go, which means that logically, if you reloaded it, you would be able... Like, if you... refused it.
Could I use like fast hands to
double cannon
load it?
Yeah, sure. I'd give you that.
You'd like to fan the cannon?
Yeah.
Come on. Come on. Maybe if you're a little more comfortable.
Oh, this is better. I rolled a 4.
Great.
Yeah.
You light the fuse, and this time,
I have to spend the ammo.
Yeah, you sure do. And in your excitement to and frustration to refire it, you didn't aim properly. So it goes sort of through the spider's legs and blasts off into the distance. Butthole. So you can see the spider is like rapidly closing in and keeping pace. Odds are it's going to get real hairy real soon. Do you try and go faster forward, or are you going to try and start reversing now?
How close are we to Clearwater? Like, can I see? Like, I don't want to drive into town, essentially, because that just seems like a worse idea.
It's still a ways away. Like, it's you can see it, and you're headed toward it. The other thing is that the train doesn't go directly into Clearwater. There is a Clearwater station that's under construction, but it's not like you'll just plow straight through the city.
Faster. Slower means it can just stand over us and kick our ass. Parking is not going to help, and reversing requires temporarily parking if we can
entirely
do that.
fair. All right.
Yeah.
You can see that Tim Hagar, the pug man, is getting very concerned in his heroic sort of gusto is starting to fade somewhat. How do you what do you say to inspire Tim the pug person?
Tim, the thing you got to remember is that we're going to take over the world, baby. We're going to get this town. It's going to be safe. You're going to be part of the richos. You don't have to be no corporate slave. There's a union, buddy, and you're going to be a part of that union. There's going to be benefits. You're going to have dental. Dental's going to be covered by the union. I guarantee it. We're going to get this whole town together.
Given that I'm a pug person, I can barely breathe in the best of times. This will be really good for my sun sickness and cold throat.
We're going to find you a whole ENT, like just an ear, nose, and throat specialist who's going to help you with your sinuses. It's going to be a big thing, and we're going to get through this together. Also, and he reaches up and just takes down the speakers. He's like, everybody's doing great, but especially you, Moss. I don't know, you might feel a little grumbling that feels something like glory. And Moss, you just feel a rumble in your tummy. And you burp out a fart that goes into your eyes, which you hate and makes you want to gag. However, you can see, like, as you're firing your Gatling gun, it's like the green gives you tracer fire, so you can see more accurately where you're shooting. So you can add a D8 to your next attack.
Nice. All right.
Cool. Which brings us to the spider. Spider is going to open up with the fire cannon, aiming at Quinny. Quinny, what's your AC right now?
It's ranged, so it would be 14.
Great.
Nice.
Thanks to duck and cover.
Ooh, unfortunately, it will hit. Which is not the best.
I'm sitting on a car full of explosives.
Yeah, sure are. Sure are.
And I'm sitting in it.
That's true.
I'm relatively safe.
All right, that's 12 points of damage. And we'll roll for the car's constitution. Well, I rolled a 14 plus stuff, so it is good. The entire cart shakes. Moss, you just look over your shoulder and see like a bunch of like glass jars of like glycerin just like shaking around, and like TNT and all the horrible things that Wild West like munition cars always have. It's a bit of like I think a Han Solo or Indiana Jones, like, well, it is what it is. You turn back. It is also I'm gonna roll to see if it can prep an arm. It cannot. So it is currently using all of its limbs to keep pace with the train. You can see it kind of like stumble step a couple times as it tries to get an arm up to swipe at the train, but unfortunately, it needs them for stomping. Cool. Bringing us to Moss.
Well, geez, I mean, I'm here. I'm at the gun. Freaking keep firing.
Great. So with your new fart tracer rounds, you open up. Go ahead and roll your 4 attacks, please.
Cool. So this is 1d8 to hit, Ryan?
1d8, yeah, for your attack roll, you can add it.
Okay.
And I think I'll allow that. Yeah, roll the d8 once, then you can add it to all 4 shots.
Oh, nice. Okay. Got a 5. So, whoa. All right. Sorry, math.
Math.
What's your regular modifier, Laura?
It's my dex, right? So 2.
Okay, so yeah, you're just adding 7. There you go.
Okay. That's better. Thanks. 18, 13, 18, and 26.
The 18s and the 26 will go. 13 will not.
Yeah.
You may have figured out what the AC is. It's done an over-under.
What could it be?
I'm thinking it's 17.
You shut your mouth.
All right. So. Wait, am I rolling? Fuck. Sorry. Am I rolling like my usual damage with my like revolver?
No.
No. Sorry,
gun
what was
it? No worries. It's 1d8.
Okay. Plus your
I feel
dex.
Yes. Okay. Sorry. I feel like I did that last time and I just forgot. 4, 7, 9, 16, 23 damage.
23 damage.
No. Sorry. Take off that last one. 16. Fuck. Sorry.
Cool.
I'm sorry.
So
the coffee hasn't kicked in yet.
No, I get it. Trust me, if there's anyone who gets coffee related stuff, it's hit me pretty. Okay. Yeah, great. Okay, so again, like line of shots ping off the side of the spider. It's definitely taking damage, but is still looking pretty hardy in hail, unfortunately. Top of the round, Quinny.
What's its position relative to our train?
So it's now like running beside the train.
Beside the train.
Because the train is running straight ahead. So it was on an intercept course, which is where that first shot was. But because Ryan stepped on it, now it's like basically having to run alongside to keep pace.
Okay. And if I look ahead, what is the next like several kilometers or miles of track?
So
look
you've
like?
got the track is all in place. You can see Clearwater a few turns down the way. To your right, you've got the woods that are now kind of smoking and on fire. Unfortunately, can you roll me a perception check?
23.
23. you think you can see some commotion in the trees. You're not sure if people live there or if they're animals or what, but the fact that the woods are on fire seems to have upset the forest somewhat, and you can see trees shaking a little bit, sort of in the distance. Okay. But yeah, you've definitely got runway, if that's kind of what you're asking. Also, as I mean, you and I are Red Dead folks. In terms of how this train station kind of connects to the town, it's a little bit like in, I want to say Saint Denis, where like the train station is on the edge of town.
Yeah.
So Clearwater is right there, but it's not like the train it has to cut directly through Clearwater. It'll kind of hit the very like lunatic fringe of Clearwater and then continue on.
Okay. I guess for the time being, I will fire another shot at the spider.
So the spider is literally just running along beside you now. So it's almost like a boarding action at this point. So I'm going to give you advantage since you're firing point blank.
Okay.
It will also increase your damage if you are successful.
These rolls are garbage. I rolled a 5 and then I rolled a 1. So I'm going to use my lucky ability and reroll.
Oh, boy.
That's better. 15 plus 5, 20 to hit.
Yeah, man.
Is he also adding an additional 5 for having already used the cannon, Tom? Is he at plus 10?
No, when he hits, it doesn't go up.
Got it.
Also, that the closer... This is a lot of weird mental gymnastics, but basically I was giving him advantages for that kind of like axe throwing or knife throwing thing where you like with knife throwing, the only way to actually improve is like throw and then step back and throw and like figure out your range. So in terms of the plus 5, it was like, oh, I get it. And you need to adjust for wind and blah, blah, blah. Now it's literally like, you know, if it's 2 cars driving directly beside each other, it's just firing straight into it. So that's cool. Negated. All right. So at this range, Tyler, you're going to be rolling 5d6.
Oh, okay. Well, I have 5d6. I think you know that.
Classic sneak attack style.
Where'd that cannon come from?
Oh, nice. 3 of those are 6s. The other 2 are 1s, shockingly.
Whew.
So what's that?
20.
18, 20? Yeah, 20.
Oh, damn, son.
Plus 5, 25.
That's
awesome.
Just a full,
I'm sorry, 23. I'm sorry. It's
okay.
plus 3.
Almost a full quarter of its health, of its overall health. That's quite impressive. All right. So you fire the cannon, and this time it punches straight through the chest of the spider and out the other side. And you just hear, pardon me, sir, I do believe we've been hit. Shut up, Mr. Shot Plop! Return fire! So that brings us to Butthole. Train's still barreling ahead. Can you roll me an insight check, please?
That is a 19.
So reaching out with your Sherlock Holmes / Faith in Moonhammer / just general act on your instincts, you get the feeling that the direction Moonhammer wants you to go is directly ahead at full speed. You get the sense that there may be some sort of assistance ahead.
Oh man, I think that he would just like reach out and grab that thing, and it's like one of those Acme ones where it's like fast, too fast, way too fast, and then there's just like 3 exclamation marks in red, and he just cranks it to exclamation marks.
Yeah,
and
Tim
then I think
Hagar's like, my God, we've gone to plan speed.
Yeah, and then he's just gonna start shoveling coal with Tim, and then in his like he'll grab that little radio and just be like, "Yeah, well, you think you're such a big deal? I hope you like that the Tingly boys stole your train, you dumb bastard." And then he'll hang that up, hoping he can pin this on Typhoeus' allies.
Right.
And then just try to go real fast. He wants to go fast, Tom. He wants to go so fast.
Go fast. Can you roll me an athletics check for how fast you can shovel? I'll roll one for Tim as well. I got to tell you, Pugman Tim Hagar might be my new favorite character. Get ready for those spin-off novels, baby. He'll become less interesting with each one of those.
I got a 7. I'm not an experienced shoveler. It does not play into my hammer skills.
Yeah, you're used to like down and smash, not in, up, and through. So
He doesn't lift with his legs. It's a problem.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, good thing you can heal up that lower back, because I gotta tell you, I played a VR game with a light gun 3 days ago, and my shoulders are still killing me. Great. Okay, so shoveling coal, train moving faster. The spider. It is angry about the cannon fire, but also concerned about the Gatling gun. You see Mr. Sharpplop up here with a scoped rifle in the hole that Quinny just blew in the side of the spider. He is also wearing a Typhoneus Industries valet outfit, but he's got a really cool beard. Is his big defining feature. So he puts one foot up on the jagged edge, and then just like looks down the scope, and he takes aim at you, Moss, with a Gatling gun, and he's going to open fire. What's your AC?
14.
All right, he will hit.
No!
And you're going to take 12 points of damage. I will, however, offer you a devil's bargain, because I know how much you love those. I'll let you take half damage, but the Gatling gun is destroyed. So basically, you can swing it in front of you like a shield of some sort, but it'll wreck the weapon.
And you do have 6 temporary HP, so that would push this to 0.
Yeah.
But the town could use a Gatling gun. Just
I know.
Oh man, this surely is a devil's bargain.
It is a devil's bargain. I hope this doesn't bite me in the ass. I'm gonna take the hit.
I was gonna say, and the narrator voice comes in and goes, "It did."
It would. Great. So, Moss, you take a bullet just through the mouth. Like it goes it goes like out the side of your, like in one side of your mouth, blows out a tooth and blows out the other side of your face. It hurts like hell, but your changeling, even though your sort of changeling powers are somewhat damaged, you are able to just kind of like just clench real hard, and it sort of closes back up. There's a scar, but it closes. You've had worse, but it's unpleasant. And from the spider, you hear "curiouser and curiouser," because he kind of hoped that headshot would just drop you, and instead it healed up immediately, which is somewhat
concerning.
Okay. And then the cannon is going to attempt to fire at well, actually I gotta see if that reloads. One sec. Okay, it does not. So instead, they're just going to use they've got like in the same way that most tanks have like the main gun and then like a small machine gun. They're just going to open up with a smaller weapon at the cannon. Tyler, I'm going to give you advantage because you're crouched behind a cannon. So disadvantage on these shots. Oh man, that's a nat 20, but also a 4. That's a 3 and an 8, and double 7s. So clear. Just
unless that's a huge modifier.
No, man, nothing for no one.
Okay.
The cannon's got a big modifier. The tiny pew pew gun does not have a big modifier. So yeah, you just hear like shots ping off the cannon. There's one that just is coming like straight for you, and you flinch, but then it pings off the that little tiny fuse holder, and is reflected up and away. And you just hear like swearing and grunting as Typhoneus desperately tries to reload his fire cannon. Moss, you just got shot in the face. But you do still have a Gatling gun. So, I mean, small blessings. You can target either the spider or Mr. Sharpplop. Who do you shoot?
Mr. Sharpplop.
Fair enough.
Because also, fuck, yeah, he could take out any of us. That hurt.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Fuck. So...
I like that Moss is just saying this as she's like cranking the gun up.
Yeah.
Ow, fuck, he could kill any of us.
So I got a nat 20.
Oh.
19. Dirty 20 and a 14.
Okay, well, since you're not shooting the spider, all of those will hit. The guy wearing a valet costume. So that's double damage for the first one, and then standard damage for the rest.
Just Swiss cheese, this guy.
So that's 9 for the first hit.
Mr. Shark Plop is going to fall apart with a
7
shark and a plop.
Then 17.
Yeah, okay. At the end of Inglourious Bastards where they just pulp Hitler, it's kind of like that. He is just ripped apart, and his dying thought is just, I should have taken cover. As
I'm like basically like kind of pulping, like cranking and pulping, I'm like, I hate what I become.
Amazing. So he completely falls apart as the bullets shred him. Unfortunately, he is not a changeling, and thus he cannot put it back together. Bring us to top of the round. Quinny, the spider is smoking but still up, and you can see desperation from the kind of command center atop the spider's head. It would seem this fight is going worse for them than they anticipated. What do you do?
I have 2 shots left. Can I, by assessing the situation, can I determine if 2 shots will be enough?
2 shots will definitely render it pretty. Maybe. Yeah. Okay. I would say that if you can connect with both shots, or if you want to try and like double up for like a powered shot or whatever, like it's going to be pretty close. You still obviously got Moss firing from below. There are also the mortars if you get desperate, but shrug.
Yeah. Okay. If it's running beside us, no, that's probably not a good idea. I was thinking about shooting at the legs. It's got 8 of them, so probably not a great idea. I'll just I'll fire another shot.
Great.
17 plus 5, 22.
Yep.
And then you said it was 5d6 now?
at this range. Yep.
11, 15, 19. That's another 23. Strangely enough,
man.
With a completely different configuration of numbers, but it adds up to 23.
You blast another hole in it, and the spider actually lurches. You hear that like whining of metal cabling, that like weird, gross, like bending metal noise. You just hear Typhonius yell, "Mr. Sharplop, start patching up the insides, Mr. Sharplop. It is so hard to find good help these days. You there, Mr. Pee-Pee Pants, get down there and start patching it up."
The fuck are these names?
People?
Look, people gain names in the Wild West from things they've done, things their family have done. It's like having the name Smith. In this case, they've got very specific names.
Pants peers?
Yeah, look, I mean, it's a scary world in the Wild Wild West.
Ever since there've been pants, there've been people who peed them, Tyler.
Truly. Bringing us to Butthole. You can see the trees moving ahead. Do you have an action lined up that you want to do in this round? Because in terms of like the train going fast, you're going about as fast as you can go. Do you want to try and inspire the troops? What's your vibe?
Yeah, I feel like at this point, oh man, he can't really do much. So I think he'll just like Take a knee and pray, man. I think that's all he's got. It's just like, Moonhammer, we could really use the help. I know this is kind of like a long distance call that you have to pay for, but like, you've done great in the past. I promise when we kill this guy, he'll go to hell. He seems terrible. You can eat his face or whatever. Like, this is going to be so fun. This world is fun. Everyone here's terrible. Please help.
So as you're making this prayer, Butthole, you're entirely focused. It's a long distance call. It's hard to reach Moonhammer in this world. You hear the spiritual equivalent of call waiting, and you hear Alan's voice saying, like, "Hey, Butthole, are you there? Unfortunately, if you were to answer her, you would have to sacrifice your prayer to Moonhammer. What do you do?"
I can't just say like a quick amen.
No, like you're like you can almost feel your connection to Moonhammer, like it's connecting. You can feel sort of her blessings beginning to tunnel through.
Nope, I like Alan, but this is Moonhammer. I'm a cleric first, and everything else second.
Great, because canonically you didn't answer her then either. So, motherfuckers, it all links up.
But imagine if I had.
This train
I would have been like, it doesn't work, and you lose your powers.
Yeah. Alan's dead. Suddenly
I was making a call being
let's
like,
rewrite half a season.
I got made a portal mistress. Just wanted to say hi. And I'm like, fuck.
Butthole, you scream, your eye becomes red, and someone in your head says, "Hey, can I borrow your body? Trust me, I'm not up to anything." My name's Mr. Granthus, and I'm a nice guy. I agree with Mr. Granthus.
Xanthus making his worst tactical choice ever. He's like, all right, I'm on a train that's about to explode.
Mission accomplished. Oh, fuck. Series ends. Great. So, unfortunately, ignoring your friend's desperate plea across dimensions, you feel the light of Moonhammer. And more importantly, Butthole, I think, and this is something you've kind of slowly been coming to over time, I think, but you feel the connection there, and that's like nice and comforting, but you no longer feel so much as though you have to draw all of your power from Moonhammer. Like, she's the only one who can grant you boons. You've become, you're slowly kind of you've become such a kind of advocate and avatar of that you feel the connection, she's there. And as you look down, you see your armor begin to glow. And I am going to grant you the boon of spiritual hammers again.
Ooh.
So as your chest hammer begins to glow, it floats out in front of you, and then flies forward and playfully pokes Tim Hagar in the butthole and then disappears. Letting you know that it is there and available for you, and like in like a very like pokes his butt, like not like in an
it's
invasive.
it's funny, not sexually aggressive.
Yeah,
in a way that Ryan's parents' dog sticks his nose in my butt sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. I don't imagine that that the hammer has
the
like
Tim Hagar looks
sexual
back
intent.
and the hammer wiggles jokily and then disappears. Yeah, it's everybody gets the hammer.
And Tim Hagar's like, you you feel sort of the blessings of Moonhammer upon you, and similar to when you saw the church, the clouds break for a moment, and you see a ray of light hit the forest ahead, you just a smile spreads across your face, and you're not entirely sure why. Bring us to the spider. Spider is in rough shape. It's going to open up if it can. Yeah, roll a 6, so the cannon recharges. Opening fire with the fire cannon on you, Quinny. What is your AC?
It would be 14.
14? Fuck, it barely misses. So the fireball blows off a chunk of the train behind you. You can feel sort of the heat from it. Moss, suddenly it's very windy in there. But happily, the fireball has missed you.
But the car.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what we're rolling for right now at disadvantage.
I don't like it.
It is on a knife's edge. It passes by 1. So
Fucking hell.
you hear like Moss, you hear a crack, and you turn, and one of the shelves full of the liquid nitroglycerin falls, and all the bottles roll down together, and then they all just kind of clink together at the bottom and just sit there rattling. But it's a real spooky moment. And yeah, I think he's getting pretty desperate. I think he's going to try and ram the train. Oof, that is a wild success. So I need a dex save from you, Quinny, and you as well, Moss.
Yeah. Oh, fuck me. Why did I use up my lucky earlier?
Is that a nat one, Laura?
Because of course it's a nat one.
That's a total of 7 for Quinny.
Oh, no.
The spider hits the train, and the entire thing rumbles. Quinny, you are tossed from the cannon through the air. Go ahead and roll me a lasso attack to see if you can at least like reconnect with the train before being tossed into the woods.
And were we just doing my firearms modifiers?
Yes, that's correct.
So that's a 16.
16? Okay. So as you're tossed from the train, you throw the lasso back and manage to like sort of grab on and swing down against the side. So you're not like being dragged by the train. You're very close to the bottom,
Hanging
but
off
you're
the side of it.
Yeah. Moss, on the other hand, you rolled a 1, which is real bad in this particular scenario, particularly given the state of this car.
Yeah, I literally just grabbed like the Tums chewables beside me and had a bunch. I'm not kidding.
They'll stop the rumbling in the tummy, but not necessarily the rumbling in the jars behind you. You're thrown backward into the explosive jars. One of them cracks and you're doused with nitro. If the train gets hit again, you will go up.
Face.
I don't want it. I don't want it at all.
Which brings us to Moss. You are covered in a highly explosive liquid. That's probably a mix of moonshine and nitro. This looks like the equivalent of a Wild West Molotov cocktail. And now you're wearing it. The Gatling gun is loose. The spider is still running along beside. What do you do?
Does the train have one of those like safety chemical showers?
It did. It was in car number 3.
Ah, nuts.
They called it the golden shower. It was with all the gold.
There it is.
I think I have to bail.
Okay.
Because I don't know. I feel like if I don't survive, this is what's going through my head like really quick. It's just like if I don't survive, well, we've got Quinny in charge, who's like a fucking terrorist, and then Butthole's there. Like I don't know whose best interest he has at heart. I don't know if it's the town's interest. So I basically want to try to like pitch myself out the window.
Fair enough. There is a hole in the side of the car now. So
let's go out that.
So give me a Constitution save as you, Quinny. You just see Moss,
Bail.
Like chair slung over her back, just like grab the front and just pull herself out.
I was thinking like in the chair.
Okay, great. So you just like ramp up it and blast off.
Moss, the train's going 3 exclamation marks.
Oh yeah. That will be reflected in what happens.
I know.
Go ahead and roll your con save, please.
12.
You just full on like speed ramp up and off the train into a tree, and you then, carrying your momentum, crash through several trees before hitting the ground and rolling. Rather dramatically, you're going to take 26 points of damage.
Well, I'm out.
Yep. As you just kind of like tumble over and over and finally come to a stop.
I'm laughing because I'm imagining it from Quinny's perspective, who like barely catches on. Moss seems okay inside, that just jumps out directly into a tree.
Yeah, it's quite a concerning thing, Quinny.
I don't.
Also, as you see the fire in the trees slowly creeping this way. Real helpful if you knew she doused in.
Forgot about the fire.
Yeah, you did.
fucked.
All right, top of the round, Quinny.
Laura's fallen out of her chair to the floor.
Yeah, Laura's off camera now. Quinny, you see, whatever the fuck that just was.
Laura's cackling maniacally from the floor of her room.
You're still hanging on. The spider's still coming. You can either climb up and try and fire the cannon, or you can try and help Moss. What do you do?
Can I do both if I'm not sitting in the cannon to fire it?
Are you gonna try and shoot the fuse and jump?
Yeah, I've got the hot shotgun, so it.
Shit, man. Yeah, all right. I'll let that
fire
ride.
ammunition.
Yeah, fuck it. Let's do it. Let's dance.
Yeah, so just from the edge of the roof of the train on a rope, I just kind of lean up over and fire hot shot at the cannon.
It's the most cowboy thing I've seen in this entire campaign.
11. These have been great dice rolls for me.
Just
this whole
killing it.
game.
I'll give you a devil's bargain. I'll let you do it, but it costs you the gun.
Sure.
So every time you fire it, it like heats up delightfully in kind of a cool Destiny guns that you need to grind for way. The shot misses, but you realize the gun is likely hot enough, so you just fucking whip the gun at the fuse. It hits and slowly starts to light up the fuse. Then what do you do?
I think I have to jump from the train and to get Moss.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead and roll your cannon shot, please. Let's do your con save first. I will give you an acrobatics. You can use your old Quinny stats for that.
Okay. Acrobatics? Okay.
Yep.
And I roll good too for some reason. Acrobatics 13 plus my modifier of 13 is 26.
Look, man, you've been thrown from enough trains in your time that you know how to go real limp. So yeah, you toss yourself from the train, and
I would like to actually just lower myself down the rope so that my feet are kind of just touching the ground, and then I just kind of stop a little bit and I let the rope kind of go.
Gotcha. Cool. So you turn yourself into a human brake line. You let yourself go, and then I need you to roll your cannon attack, please. This is going to be a disadvantage because you're not actually aiming the cannon.
Yeah. Okay, so 10.
Mr. PP Pants shows up with a patch kit and steps into the goo of Mr. Sharplop and goes, "Oh my, most improper!" And then a cannonball just blasts his head off. Unfortunately, it goes straight through the hole in the spider and deals no further damage to the spider, but it does deal more damage to a valet.
Are you telling me Mr. PP Pants wasn't a serious character?
I am telling you that, yes.
Just killed him on a miss as a joke.
Yep, that's right. That's right. Just writing him off.
I'm shocked.
I thought you might be shocked. That's just the kind of cruel world this godless Wild West is.
I need to self-soothe with my beard comb now.
That's fair. That's good for all of us. All right, so Quinny, you watch the train continue to speed away, and then turn to go and drag Moss out of the woods before the fire reaches her. Bringing us to Butthole. In the rearview mirror.
I was gonna say, I looked at Tim and I just say, "Don't worry, we're gonna get through this because our friends will never leave us behind." And then I look in the mirror and just see someone hit a tree. A few seconds later, Quinny appears to just leave comfortably. Just
you hear the cannon fire, and the spider is still running, and you can see it starting to edge in towards the front of the car. What are your final thoughts before the train gets derailed? And / what is your prayer to Moonhammer? Because you're on the line.
Hey, Moonhammer. So I'm sort of on my own now. I would be really glad to not die. That would be great. And also, Tim not die. The other two, hopefully, are looking after themselves, but I feel like I'm already asking a lot. If you have to choose between me and Tim, I mean, I'd pick me. I think you should too. Tim seems okay, but he'll have a nice time in hell. Okay, please don't let us die. Everyone abandoned me, butthole.
And
I love you.
Occasionally, when you've reached out to your faith, one of the three elements of Moonhammer really comes through. Strength, joy, flatulence, and sometimes it's one of the other aspects related to those. In this case, you just hear the word friendship echo through your mind, and then out of the trees emerges a giant fucking spider. It just says, "Hey, stop fucking up my woods."
God.
And Old West Jacob Goodbark leaps across the tracks. Also, I should point out this giant spider has a little cowboy hat onto the giant mechanical spider, and the two begin to fight. And as the train whips by, Butthole, what do you yell?
I yell, "I'm ready!"
And with that, the train speeds away as the two giant spiders proceed to battle each other, kaiju style, crashing into clear water. It's a big, huge fight. But as you look in the rearview mirror, you eventually see an explosion as the Jakob spider just starts punching into the back, yelling like, "You don't fuck up my forest!" And eventually you see his giant pincers grab the side of the mechanical spider's head and twist, snapping it off and spitting it out. He then stands up, kind of dusts off his hands, and the spider kind of looks at the town and just says, "Don't look for me," and wanders back into the forest.
I'll put that train in reverse.
Yeah.
And just as we're reversing away from Clearwater, I don't know how much they can hear, so I'll probably spend the next couple of minutes going, "We're the Tingly Boys, and we stole your stuff. Tingly Boys, Tingly Boys, Tingly Boys." Just until we can get away.
Great. You are able to pick up Quinny, who's dragging the unconscious Moss. You kind of like hoist her in the chair up on board. He climbs aboard, and together with your new ally Tim Hagar, you make your way kind of back through the carnage and destruction, watching as the giant spider disappears into the woods. And eventually you reach the carts. Cart Mom has set up a pretty good thing. Like, she's good at carts, so the carts are ready to go. And you kind of load the unconscious Moss into one of them. Quinny, what is, like, obviously you get picked up by the car, or by the train rather. Do you think you'd go talk to Butthole, or you're just taking care of Moss? What's going on?
I'd see to Moss first, but obviously the fact that the train came back, I would want to talk to Butthole and see that he's all right too.
Cool. So I think we'll actually say that given that the plan is back on track, you spend the time tending to Moss. You all load up on the carts, and Butthole and Quinny, you kind of get together on the lead one. And looking back, what do you say before you blow the train?
Could have used a giant spider.
Yeah, but he said don't look for him, and he seemed like an atheist, so I think we're better off.
I was talking about the metal one that we could control and pilot and shoot cool guns from, but yeah, that guy too, I guess.
And with that, the train erupts. You mount up the carts, and you head back towards Tomb Slab, with 1 day remaining until the town burns.
This episode of Dum-Dums and Dragons features the voices of Ryan LaPlante at the Ryan LaPlante on Twitter, Tyler Hewitt at Tyler_Hewitt on Twitter, Laura Elizabeth at EL Hamstring on Twitter, and our DM Tom McGee at McGeeTD on Twitter. This episode's sound was edited and mixed by Laura Hamstra, and Dum-Dums and Dragons logo is by Decapitated Markers at Decapitated Marker on Twitter. Our theme songs are And Now for That Massive Coronary and Skipping Through the Orchestra Pit Part 1 by Peter Gresser, and our ad music is No Control and Chiefs by Jazzar, JAHZZAR, are, all available at freemusicarchive.org. When it comes to Dum-Dums and Dice, you can visit our website at dumdumdice.com. Our Twitter and Instagram are at dumdumdice, and on Facebook at facebook.com/dumdumdice. But most importantly, we've got merchandise at redbubble.com/people/dumdumdice, or you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/dumdumdice. That's DUMBDICE. And tune in next week for more Dum-Dums and Dragons. Dum-Dums and Dice has to give a special thank you to the supreme beings of our Patreon at this time. Christian Menicola, Long, the Half-Blind Prophet, James Cuellar, Charles Grams, Christopher Little, Sue One, George Dolby, One True Artistry, Orion Birchfield, Lord of Bradovic, Noel Lewis, Scott Garland, Anthony Griffin, Jordan Neesmith, Benjamin V, Gavin and Abby McDonald, Taryn Hefner, Cade Peters, Richard Cranium, Christian Mendez, Anna Zed, and Jill and Noel LaPlante. If you want your name to be added to this list, you can join our Patreon too at patreon.com/dumdumdice. Thanks to them, and a little bit of thanks to you.